Right now, while you're watching this, you are quietly handing over $250 a year to apps you forgot you even signed up for. Go check your bank statement right now. I promise you there's a charge in there you don't even recognize. But here's the part nobody tells you. That subscription leak isn't even the most expensive thing you're losing every single day. Not even close. There's something bigger leaking out of your life right now. Something that cost you way more than money. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is and exactly how to stop it tonight. I'm Ben. And no, I'm not here to tell you to be more mindful or grateful for what you have. I'm here because I got curious about something. Every one of these free luxury upgrade videos floating around online says the same vague thing. Slow down, breathe more, buy less. And it all sounds nice, but nobody ever proves it with actual numbers. So that's what this video does differently. Every single upgrade I'm about to show you gets backed by a real statistic, a real study, a real dollar figure. Not vibes. This isn't my opinion. Every number you're about to hear comes straight from real surveys and government time use data. I'll show you exactly where it comes from, because here's what I believe. Luxury isn't a price tag, it's a decision. And most people never even get the chance to make that decision because they don't realize what they're already losing. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly where your money is quietly leaking, exactly where your time is disappearing, and exactly what to do about both of those things. Tonight, not someday, tonight. Okay, so if luxury is a decision, what exactly are you deciding with? Let's start with time, because I think you have more of it than you believe. According to the most recent numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average American adult gets about 5 hours of leisure time every single day. 5 hours. I know what you're thinking. Where? Because it definitely doesn't feel like 5 hours. Here's the answer. About 2.6 of those hours, over half of your entire leisure day, goes straight into a screen, mostly TV. Think of it like a bucket that's already full of water. You don't need to find more water. You already have it. It's just draining out through a hole you never noticed, and that hole is shaped exactly like your remote control. So this isn't a story about you being lazy or undisciplined. It's a story about where the water is going. And once you see the hole, you can actually decide to plug it. But here's a question worth sitting with for a second. If you traded one of those screen hours, just one, for something quiet and phone-free, would it actually feel like rest, or would you just feel deprived? Hold on to that question. We're coming back to it. Now, if you're in your late 30s or 40s, I want to be specific with you for a second, because this next stat is basically about you. Time use data shows adults aged 35 to 44 have less leisure time than any other adult age group. Around 3.9 hours a day, and even that's mostly passive. So if you've been feeling like you have less room to breathe than everyone else, you're not imagining it. The research backs you up. And here's the twist. Because that time is so rare, protecting even 20 minutes of it on purpose becomes more valuable, not less realistic. Scarcity doesn't cancel the upgrade, it raises the stakes on it. And while your time has been quietly disappearing, so has your money, not because you're careless. Because these systems are built to be forgotten. So let's answer the question I opened with. How much money are you actually losing to subscriptions you forgot about? In 2025, CNET surveyed over 2,400 U.S. adults and found the average person spends about $1,080 a year on subscriptions, with more than 200 of those dollars going to services they don't even use. A year later, in 2026, that same survey found something worse. Typical spending had climbed to about $1,332 a year, and the wasted portion had grown too, to roughly $252, going straight to apps and services sitting untouched on your phone. Same story, 2 years in a row, growing, not shrinking. Now, $250 might sound small when you say it fast. So let's slow it down. That's several dinners out with someone you love. That's a weekend trip somewhere you've been wanting to go. That's the start of an actual emergency fund, the kind that makes a surprise car repair feel like an inconvenience instead of a crisis. This isn't a story about being bad with money. This is happening to almost everyone, because these charges are specifically designed to be forgotten. And that forgetting has a price tag. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because so far, we've been talking about subscriptions you forgot about. But there's a bigger problem hiding underneath that one. Researchers at CNR Research ask people a simple question. How much do you think you spend on subscriptions every month? The average answer was $86. Then they went and looked at actual itemized charges, actual money leaving actual accounts. The real number wasn't $86, it was $219. That's not a rounding error. That's a $133 gap every single month between what people believe they're spending and what they're actually spending. Let that sit for a second. You could be off by over $100 a month and have absolutely no idea. And I want to be really clear about something here. This isn't about being bad with money either. This is about how good these companies have gotten at being invisible. Small charges spread across a dozen different apps, hitting a dozen different days of the month, designed never to feel like one big number. So if you're sitting there thinking, I already know what I spend, that confidence is exactly what the data says not to trust. The only way to actually know is to look. So now you know two things. You're probably wasting real money, and you probably don't even know how much. Here's the number that closes the loop. Self Financial's 2026 research found that the average person is holding on to about 2.6 subscriptions they never actually use, worth around $26.79 a month. Add that up over a year, and you're at roughly $320 just sitting there, funding nothing. I know what some of you are thinking right now. Okay, but canceling 2 or 3 apps isn't going to change my life, and normally, I'd agree with you, except the math says otherwise. $250 to $320 a year isn't pocket change. That's a real weekend away. That's a real dinner out, more than once. That's the start of an emergency fund that actually makes you feel less fragile. This is money that's currently funding someone else's business model instead of funding your actual life. So here's the first free upgrade of this video, and it costs you nothing but 10 minutes. Tonight, open your bank app, scroll back through the last month of charges. For every subscription you see, ask one honest question. Did I use this in the last 30 days? If the answer is no, cancel it. That's it. 10 minutes. No budgeting app, no spreadsheet, no financial advisor. And I want you to notice something about how that feels. Not restriction, relief. Like you just found money you didn't know you had. Because in a very real sense, you did. That's your money handled. But money was never the only thing quietly leaking out of your life. Your wallet just got a little quieter. Now let's talk about your nervous system, because there's a free upgrade for that too. I want you to picture something. 20 minutes, no phone in your pocket, just walking, somewhere with actual trees, or grass, or even just open sky. Researchers at the University of Michigan, in a study published in Frontiers in Psychology, measured something specific, cortisol. That's your body's main stress hormone, the chemical that keeps you wired even when nothing is actually wrong anymore. After 20 to 30 minutes in nature, cortisol dropped by about 20% per hour, 20% from walking. No app, no supplement, no $40 candle. The researchers actually started calling it a nature pill, because that's basically what it functions as. A dose with a measurable effect that happens to be free. Now, I already told you, if you're 35 to 44, you're sitting on the least leisure time of any age group, around 3.9 hours a day. So I want to be honest with you. I'm not telling you to find new time. That's not realistic, and I'm not going to pretend it is. I'm telling you to redirect 20 minutes of time you already have, time that's currently going to a screen, into something that actively lowers the stress chemical running through your body right now. Same clock, same 20 minutes. Completely different return. And here's the part that surprised me most researching this. This isn't a mood boost we're talking about. It's measurable, physical, And it happens fast, which means the walk isn't a nice to have. It's closer to a prescription, one you already have access to tonight. And if a phone-free walk can do that to your stress in 20 minutes, imagine what a phone-free morning could do to the rest of your day. So here's the objection I know is sitting in your head right now. Screen time is literally my only way to relax. If I cut that, I'm not upgrading anything, I'm just taking something away from myself. I get it. And I'm not going to tell you TV doesn't feel relaxing, because it does. Your brain likes it. It's easy, it's passive, it asks nothing of you. Think of it like fast food versus an actual meal. Both fill you up in the moment. Only one of them leaves you nourished an hour later. But here's the distinction that matters. Feeling relaxed and actually recovering are not the same thing. Scrolling in bed under blue light at 11 at night feels like winding down, but your brain is still processing input, still reacting, still lit up. It's the difference between sitting down after a long day and actually letting your nervous system power off. Compare that to something like reading under a warm lamp, or journaling for 10 minutes, or just lying in a dark, quiet room with your phone in another room entirely. Less stimulating in the moment, but your brain actually gets to downshift. This is the trade I want you to consider. Not deleting rest, upgrading what rest actually means. Trading 1 hour of passive scrolling for something that recovers you instead of just distracting you. And look, I know that sounds like the kind of thing a wellness account posts with no proof behind it. So I'm not going to leave it there. Because it turns out, the actual time use data backs this up in a pretty specific way. And once you see the number, you'll understand exactly why quiet, undistracted time feels so rare. Here's the number I promised. When the Bureau of Labor Statistics broke down exactly how leisure time gets spent, they found something that stopped me. Watching TV eats up around 2.6 hours a day, like we already covered. But the category labeled relaxing and thinking, actual quiet, undistracted mental space, comes in at somewhere between 35 and 38 hundredths of an hour. That's about 20 minutes, total, in an entire day. So let's go back to that question from earlier. Can quiet, phone-free time actually replace TV as real rest? Or will you just end up feeling deprived? Here's your answer. Almost nobody is protecting quiet time right now. It's not that most people tried it and it failed them. It's that almost nobody is even attempting it. The average adult spends roughly 8 times more time on TV than on quiet, undistracted thinking. Which means if you carve out even 15 or 20 minutes of real quiet, no phone, no show, nothing performing at you, you are doing something that puts you in a genuinely small group of people. Flip the story in your head for a second. Stop thinking of quiet time as boring, or empty, or something you settle for when you're too tired to do anything else. Start thinking of it as rare. Almost nobody protects it. And the things almost nobody protects are usually the things worth protecting most. That's not deprivation. That's exclusivity. And it's sitting right there, completely free, waiting for you to actually take it. So now you've got the full picture. Money leaking through forgotten subscriptions, hours leaking through passive screens, and real rest, the rarest resource of all, sitting almost completely unclaimed. The question left isn't whether these upgrades exist, it's whether you're willing to actually install them. So let's make this real. Not abstract, not aspirational. Actual things you can do today that turn everything we've talked about into identity, not just information. First one, make your bed. I know, it sounds almost insultingly simple, but think about what it actually signals. It's a 60-second decision that tells your brain, I am someone who finishes things, even small things, even when nobody's watching. Second one, clear one surface. Not your whole house, not a weekend deep clean. One counter, one desk, one nightstand. Because a cleared surface doesn't just look calmer, it reduces the number of tiny decisions your brain has to make every time it lands there. Third one, and this is the big one, protect one phone-free hour, not the whole evening, not your entire weekend. 1 hour, phone in another room, completely. Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking. That's easy for someone whose job doesn't need them to be reachable every second. Fair. So don't try to protect all day. Protect the first 30 minutes of your morning instead, before anyone else's demands are even awake yet. That window belongs to you before it belongs to anyone else's inbox. Here's the identity shift underneath all three of these. Calm, in-control people don't wait for permission to protect their time. They just quietly do it, in small, repeatable ways, every single day. Not because they have more time than you. We already proved they usually don't. They just decided these small moments were worth guarding. That decision is available to you tonight, completely free. 3 small habits, $0 spent, and a completely different feeling about who's actually running your day. So let's put all of this into one simple framework you can actually use tonight. I'm calling it the free upgrade audit, and it's 3 steps. Step 1, audit your money. 10 minutes, tonight, going through your bank statement and canceling anything you haven't used in the last 30 days. That alone can reclaim somewhere between $250 and $320 a year, money that's currently funding apps instead of your actual life. Step 2, audit your time. Pick 1 hour you normally hand to a screen, and just for tonight, hand it to something else instead. A walk, a book, silence. You're not finding new time, you're redirecting time you already have. Step 3, install one protected ritual and actually defend it. A 20-minute phone-free walk, a quiet phone-free morning, 1 hour before bed with your phone in another room. Pick one. Not all 3. 1. Now, I want to be honest with you, because I know some of you live in genuinely chaotic households, kids interrupting, partners needing things, jobs that don't respect boundaries. This framework isn't asking you to build a perfectly peaceful life starting tomorrow. That's not realistic, and honestly, it's not the point. This is about protecting even 10 or 20 minutes, consistently, even when the rest of the day is a mess. Peace doesn't require a perfectly controlled environment. It requires one small, defended pocket of time that's actually yours, even inside the chaos. Audit the money, audit the time, protect one ritual. That's the entire system. Nothing complicated, nothing expensive, and nothing that requires waiting for your life to calm down first. So let's go back to the question I opened this whole video with. What's the single most expensive looking thing a human being can have that actually costs $0? Here's my answer after all these numbers. It's the decision itself. The decision that your time, your attention, and your money are too valuable to keep spending on autopilot. Because here's what the data actually says underneath every single stat we covered tonight. You already have the money. Somewhere around $250 to $320 a year of it, sitting in subscriptions you forgot about. You already have the time, hours of it, every single day, currently going to a screen instead of to you. Nobody needs to earn more or buy more to feel rich. You need to stop leaking what you already have, on purpose, starting tonight. So tell me, what's the one free upgrade that actually changed how your day feels? Put it in the comments. I read every